Well. Now, I already made a video talking about Paul George and that released this morning and everything. But now I got to do the follow-up because it was actually confirmed that he is going to Philadelphia. But listen, it's just absolutely hilarious what's been going on. It, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. Even though Paul George has signed for his little his big contract, and Lawerence Frank is making these moves, basically, like, let's be honest, there's some solid ass moves that the Clippers are making. Lawerence Frank is making. So before we get to each and every dang move, let's talk about the old. Paul George, he ended up getting his freaking contract, right? He got a 4-year, 212 million maximum contract with the 76ers. And he will be going to Philadelphia. Not shocking. Not shocking indeed. Again, clearly there the massive reason why the Clippers was not re-signing him is because the second apron stuff. And don't even get me started with the national media. I think I'll talk about that in a quick second. But let's just look at this breakdown. Bobby Marks on Twitter basically made a breakdown of the Paul George contract. So this upcoming season, he'll be getting paid 49.2 million. The following season, he'll be getting paid 51.7 million. The following year after that, he will get a $3 increase, 54.1 million. And then that gets to a $2 raise, 56.6 million. Now, by the time the 2027 and 2028 season happens and he gets to the point where it's 56.6 million, he will be 38 years of age. So let me get this straight. Paul George legitimately could be making money for the Philadelphia 76ers when he's 38, and the 76ers will be paying a 38-year-old man $50 million. Now you see why Lawerence Frank did not pay this man what he wanted. Because if the Clippers seriously were going to pay Paul George $50 million damn dollars for all the stupid mistakes and the stupidity and everything he's done the past few seasons, what the hell are we doing? Obviously, the second apron stuff gets into effect, but this is what I'm talking about. Paul George took this deal because all he cares about is the damn money. He cares about the damn money. Plain and simple. If you're getting paid $56 million by the time you're 38, that just tells me you ain't trying to win no damn championship. You're just coming along for the ride. You hope to get to the championship and win it all, but the most important thing right now is your money. Now, again, personally, I still want to blow it up. I still wanted to blow it up, but if the Clippers had any aspirations of wanting to run it back, I don't know why Paul George didn't want to wise up and just take the damn pay cut. He's got a lot of endorsements. I bet you the podcast pays nicely. That's definitely got to be a monetized thing. Certain shoe deals and a bunch of other stuff. But I guess the money was too good to turn down, huh? That's fine. He can go make his damn money and go to Philadelphia. And of course, in his negotiation table, he was wearing a freaking Allen Iverson Philadelphia 76ers shirt. So what is he now? Is he now a 76ers fan? Is he going to come out here and say, I've always been a 76ers fan? Yeah, this entire day, the moment Paul George signed, and he signed at like 3 a.m. in the morning Pacific Standard Time, mind you. This man has been public enemy number one on Clippers Twitter. Like, legitimately, the positive and negative side of Clippers Twitter are literally in unison because Paul George. I'm telling you, man. Paul George, the first game to Intuit, number one, I want to be there unless I can't be there for whatever reason. I want to be there. The first game he's backing into a dome. I might have to actually call out of work one time, wherever I'm at working, and just make it to where, no. Hold on. Okay, ignore my dog barking in the background. But as I was saying, as I was freaking saying, this man is public enemy number one. The first game he comes back to Intuit, I want to be in the building, and I'm strictly just gonna boo this guy. I guarantee you, I won't be shocked every time he touches the damn ball. What is it? He's gonna be booed. This man is gonna be our version, probably, of Kyrie freaking Irving. That's how despised this guy is going to be. Because again, like I said, the guy in his Clippers tenure wasn't serious. He didn't understand to make up his damn mind of what he wanted. And he demanded a lot from the organization. I'm going to talk about some of the moves Lawerence Frank's been making. And now you just have to start questioning and scratching your head of like, wait a second. We could have been making these moves these entire time, but when Paul George was under the roof, we weren't making these moves. And it clearly goes to show you that Paul George had some, I guess you could say, some instances of, well, certain decisions being made behind the scenes. Obviously, they probably do go to Kawhi sometimes, but it sounds like Kawhi is just like, I don't give a crap. Just put a team around me and let's go from there. But it sounds like Paul George is the type of guy that actively goes out there and tells Lawerence Frank, hey, can you make a move for this guy? Can you make a move for that guy? And on top of it, too, the fact that he wanted this type of money, making it seem like he is the number one guy on the team, because that type of money he's getting paid like he's the number one guy on Philadelphia right now, when in reality, he's the number three guy. If the Clippers had given him this contract, Lawerence Frank had given him this contract, this man probably would have had such an ego trip thinking that, okay, I'm the number one guy here. They love me. They don't love Kawhi like they love me. Well, guess what? Lawerence Frank said the only reason why your ass is here, anyways, is because of Kawhi. So you should be thanking him that you got here in the first place. So, like I said, I'm done with Paul George. His freaking tenure as a Clipper, it was nice the first couple of seasons. And then all of a sudden, whatever. Again, this dude was proclaimed as one of the greatest Clippers, if not some Clipper fans literally herald him as the greatest Clipper ever. Now that he's gone, people are back on, well, I mean, honestly, Chris Paul and Blake Griffin are up on my list as greatest Clippers ever. Oh, really? Like they should have always been at the top anyways. It's plain and simple, man. It's plain and freaking simple with Paul George. And this is the last thing I'm going to say about Paul George. And I never have to talk about him in regards to being on the Los Angeles Clippers ever again. Paul George's problem is he never knew what he wanted. He never knew when to keep his damn mouth shut every now and then. He never knew what he wanted to do. One season he's talking about he wants to be more on ball because he doesn't want to be like a freaking Ray Allen or JJ Redick. And the next thing you turn around, he wants to have more off ball responsibilities. And it's like, wait, wasn't a few years ago you said you wanted to be on the ball? Now you want to be off the ball because guess what? You're getting picked up by good defenders and you can't pass the ball for crap. It's the stupid stuff. And then he opens his big fat mouth way too many times and he begged for all his best friends to come join the dang team, whether it was Reggie Jackson or John Wall or Russell Westbrook. And then he wants to go out there and talk about on his podcast he isn't playing the damn right way. Man, please get the hell out of here. He can kiss all Clipper fans' asses for his bullshit. For crying out loud. I don't give a crap anymore. Paul George, I'm glad you got your dang money. I hope you're happy because if you start stinging up the joint in Philadelphia, then Philadelphia 76er fans are going to be coming for your ass too. He should be happy that he enjoyed it. He should have enjoyed his time in the Clippers, and I bet he did. But he should have definitely enjoyed the fan base because he won't get that type of fan base out here. See, with our fan base, you'll have some critical members in the fans, but they're more smaller as opposed to the outcry of positivity. Clipper fans are typically mostly positive fans, but they only get negative if you force them to get negative for some odd reason, or if we feel like we've been scarred. But trust and believe, he stinks up the joint in Philadelphia. Man, please. They're gonna eat him alive. I think I said in my last video in regards to this stupid Paul George stuff. They ate Ben Simmons alive to the point the man hasn't recovered since then after one damn playoff series he sucked in, really. Or he didn't really perform up to standards because of a certain decision. Paul George will mentally break to the point he'll be going back home crying to mama on her lap like Caleb Williams did against Washington. Whatever, man. And one more thing, too. It's funny how he chooses Philadelphia out of all freaking teams to go to, when guess what? They're no different than the Clippers. A same middle of the pack team that gets all this hype like they're going to do something every single year, and then they end up losing in the first or second round. And the main reason why they lose in the first or second round is because their number one freaking player in Embiid, he can't stay healthy to save his life. Where is that similar like? Oh, wait, just like Kawhi. So he ended up leaving one team with a number one injury prone superstar to go to another team that is an injury prone superstar. Mind you, also too, Embiid, unlike Kawhi, he doesn't really show up rarely in the playoffs, even when he is healthy. He has sometimes these playoff moments where he completely no-shows either, just like Paul George does. Other than that, he's usually injured or he's out of the playoff series because he's injured. Like this last playoff round, he wasn't himself. So I find that absolutely hilarious. He goes from one team to another team that has the same issues as the Clippers in terms of their number one guy being very injury prone. On top of it, Paul George is an injury prone player himself. We'll see if Philadelphia ends up regretting that contract. See, with giving him that contract alone, they damn well better make an NBA Finals and better win one NBA Finals. Otherwise, that contract's not worth it, and they will have been wasting money for nothing. I've already talked enough about Paul George, and I already talked enough about the stupid 2-1-3 era and all this BS that I'm just sick of. Let's get to the Clipper moves that Lawerence Frank has been making. And actually, one more thing. The national media actually has been a bunch of BSers. Outside of maybe Rick Bucher from Fox Sports and a little bit of Brian Windhorst, all these media members are shitting on the Clippers, talking about how you gonna let this guy walk out of the building and things like that. You're a joke. Like Richard Jefferson talked about, he literally said this: the Clippers do not look like the type of organization that if you're a superstar, you want to go invest in. Funny enough, number one, they did it. Any superstars should invest in the Clippers because guess what? They literally mortgaged their entire future for Paul George alone. But the reason why I think it's complete BS that these media members are saying that is because they're not holding Paul George accountable as well. These are the same media people that talked about after the Clippers lost to the Dallas Mavericks this year in the playoffs. They said, look, it's run its course. You need to blow it up. Next thing you know, they let Paul George walk, and they're like, whoa, 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 whoa. How could you let Paul George walk out of the building? Mostly because they're attributing it to the fact that they lost him for nothing. But see, what these stupid national media heads don't understand what they're talking about is this. One, Paul George doesn't show up when you need to count on him the most. I didn't see one freaking national media head outside of Rick Bucher in his tweet today talking about how Paul George didn't step up to the moment. Also, I think Ben Maher on Fox Sports Radio also made the mention too. So he's the other national media guy that I've seen that has talked about, look, there's a reason why the Clippers didn't pay Paul George, and it's not that hard to understand. But they didn't pay Paul George because when you count on him most, he doesn't show up. There's enough tape out there to see that. You know? He's always demanding the front office to make these moves for certain people he wanted to bring along the team. Instead of the Los Angeles Clippers, he wanted to make the Los Angeles Paul George best friend club. That's what he wanted to do. And then number three, obviously, the second apron that these people are completely ignoring. I was watching First Take this this morning, and freaking Brian Windhorst was talking about, well, look, at the end of the day, too, another factor has to be the fact that the second apron, the new CBA stuff that's going on. And then you had Kendra Perkins guy talking around, is like, yeah, I understand that, but who the hell damn cares? It's stupid, the stupid decision. And it's like you have these national media heads talking, and when somebody brings up the fact, well, they couldn't even resign him because of second apron, they would have all these penalties on them. When looking at what they got left, they ain't got nothing. I don't have it all, but I do know that they lose draft picks and a bunch of other stuff happens to them that is pretty hurtful to the organization. And the fact that you got national media heads like, well, I don't give a crap about this new freaking second apron. You should have figured something out. How are you going to figure something out if somebody wants 50 million damn dollars and you're getting, if you pay that guy 50 damn million dollars, you're going to freaking kill your franchise. But no, people want to agree. These national media heads want to be joining alongside the Twitter heads, the so-called Twitter GMs that don't know what the hell they're talking about, that they just want to create these freaking crazy takes. And what's simple? It's simple what these national media people do. They looked at how many people tweeted out that image of what the Clippers gave up to get Paul George. And that's like, well, yeah, that's why it's a terrible idea. That goes to show you that these national media people do not know what the hell they're talking about when it comes to sports. They just say stuff just for clicks. I would actually respect ESPN and Fox Sports if they actually hired people that know what the hell they're talking about, people that actually go into doing the homework, doing the research, watching these teams on a nightly basis that actually understand what is their situation. Colin Cowherd made a stupid tweet talking about, I don't know why the Clippers let Paul George go. Well, if the dumbass actually watched Clipper games on a nightly basis instead of watching freaking Laker games all the damn time, he would actually see the reason why the Clippers let Paul George go. That's what I'm talking about with these national media heads. They don't know what they're talking about because they actually don't do their damn homework, and they actually don't look into the teams that they're obviously going to put on their talk show. And that doesn't mean just in the NBA. That's NFL, that's MLB, that's MLB, that's even freaking NHL. So that's why I like to listen to my local favorite teams people, because they know what the hell they're talking about. They know the issue because they actually watch the team 100% and they cover the team 9 out of 10 times. These national media guys only watch the top of the top. If the Chiefs are the best team in the league, they'll only go to the Chiefs. They won't go talk about how maybe the Arizona Cardinals, even though they weren't good this year, they played really hard football. And they won't go in depth about why they play really hard football. They'll just say they just play a hard team because the coach has them playing hard. Your generic talk. Anyways, let's get on with this with these moves that Clippers been making. Now, after I made the freaking video, I made last night that ended up going up this morning, the Clippers made the decision to sign Derrick Jones Jr. to a 3-year contract. And honestly, I'm 100% fine with this contract. Yes, Derrick Jones Jr. has spotty offense, but what is the number one thing? And I'm going to say this a lot with a bunch of guys we signed. This guy can defend. Funny enough, this was the guy, one of the few guys in the Dallas series that locked freaking Paul George up and made him look damn near inept. Derrick Jones Jr. is a solid point of attack defender the Clippers can use. And he can defend some small forwards. He can defend some guards. He's a solid defender. Again, I'll repeat, going forward, this is a nice solid move. I like it. Defender, you can put him, it takes the load off Kawhi. You can say, well, let's put him on maybe one of the best players that the other opposing teams got. And he can be the one to guard them. It's a nice contract. I'm fine with it. That was a nice, solid move. Obviously, it's something that's not going to go crazy over the wall, but whatever. Regardless, I still like the dang move. So you get him to lure him away from Dallas. Then, the next move, shockingly enough, we actually got the guy back that we traded away at the end of last season, at the start of last season. And you can clearly tell that Nicholas Batum never wanted to leave the Clippers. That's who we ended up getting. Nicholas Batum ended up returning to the Clippers on a 2-year deal. Yeah, I thought the man was going to retire, but clearly he didn't. He wasn't that good in Philadelphia. I don't know how he was doing in Philadelphia, but apparently he wasn't that good like he was with us. And you could clearly tell that he was shell shocked. Him and his wife were shell shocked that the Clippers actually traded him away. And again, you go back to the Harden trade. I was fine with the trade. Really, I didn't like that the point in time that happened because it's like let's just play it out. If you feel like we need Harden, do it at the deadline. But they should have really got it done at the start of the offseason. But you could tell that Nicholas Batum did not want to leave the Clippers, and he was kind of stunned and shocked alongside of his wife that was kind of stunned and shocked. But the fact that, guess what? He's back now. He can finally retire as a Clipper like he wanted to do, end his career off. He comes back, and that's nice. And I find it absolutely hilarious how Paul George talk about, oh, well, but Batum and Rocco did all the dirty work for us and everything. Guess what? We bring him back. To me, this also feels like a move that Lawerence Frank is trying to make up for the fact that he's definitely making up to Batum. Probably told him like, "Hey man, I'm really sorry that we traded you. Looking back at it, we probably should have not done that deal. Come on, come back." And guess what? The man was willing to basically accept to basically a $10 million deal. Like he didn't even think. He didn't have any ill will towards the Clippers. He came back home because he was comfortable here. He liked it here. And we traded him away. Another solid defender, obviously older. The one thing I didn't mention about Derrick Jones Jr. is he's young and he's athletic. Albeit Batum is older, he still can play some solid defense, and you can give him some solid minutes, and he's still a good, solid 3-and-D player. So the Batum Battalion is back with the Clippers. It's nice to see. I'm happy that he's back, and we'll go on from there. But that's another player that, guess what? He's a solid defender, not what he used to be, but it's a solid team. He's a solid player. He doesn't have to learn anything. It's like he's fitting right back in. And you can make the argument he could potentially be in the starting lineup, maybe. You can make the argument he could be in the starting lineup. So the next guy. And now the next guy that we ended up getting recently is Chris Dunn. Now, as of this moment, the Clippers are trying to find a way to do a sign and trade with the Utah Jazz to get Chris Dunn, and it sounds like another player. Now, who could that be? Could it be Lauri Markkanen? Could it be Kessler or John Collins? I don't know. But as of now, we will still have Chris Dunn, but the Clippers are trying to work a sign and trade type of thing. So it sounds like we potentially could be seeing people off the Clippers. And mind you, if we bring in Chris Dunn, we have a lot of influx of guards. A lot. So clearly Lawerence Frank is making the decision. We got to get rid of somebody. We got to get rid of a few people. And also, right now, Russell Westbrook's having ties potentially be traded to Denver. He can go to Denver for crying out loud. He can make their team freaking worse for crying out loud. I don't give a crap. But regardless, Chris Dunn. The number one thing about Chris Dunn is this. Another solid to great defensive player in this NBA. A pretty damn good, I won't say great, but pretty damn good point of attack defender. Something that was a weakness for us. You see what I'm talking about. The last three moves I just mentioned, Chris Dunn, Batum, and Derrick Jones Jr. What is the one thing that they all have in common? They can all play defense. One of the weakest aspects of the Clippers last year, where we literally were going trading baskets for baskets because we couldn't stop anybody last year because we had nobody that could play defense. And now Lawerence Frank is like, well, I understand we're suffering in the offensive department. So the best thing we can do is if we can play some damn defense, it can maybe to do the whole thing of great defense can turn into great offense. And it's only going to help us out even more. I'm fine with this. This is a guy that we should have been and gone and went after years ago. But now the fact that we're finally going after We went after Chris Dunn. We got him. We're trying to facilitate a sign and trade to get somebody else to come. I would envision it's probably John Collins because he's another athletic type of person, and plus he's a wing defender, a wing player. Something we need an athletic four. So then guess what? You can move Kawhi back to the three, slot John Collins in as the four, and guess what? You got two big people in the paint with Zubac and John Collins. Add in Harden and then maybe Terrence Mann if he's still here in the starting lineup. That is solid. Solid. That's a solid starting lineup right there. That is a solid starting lineup. And oh, Lord have mercy. The stuff Harden can do with John Collins, already what we've seen him do with Zubac. I'm not saying you're winning a championship, but you're pretty damn competitive. And you got a lot of talent, and you got a lot of athleticism, right then and there. But like I said, Lawerence Frank is completely like, no. We can't have moments in games where we're trading baskets and we can't get one stop to save our life. We got to get stops. We have to address an issue. We know we're going to drop off significantly with no Paul George because we got no off, and our offense will drop off significantly due to what Paul George averaged. Right? But if we can get stops and we can play defense, and that good defense can turn into good offense, now we're cooking with fire. And then so far, as of late, the next new move they did is they got free agent center Mo Bamba on a 1-year deal. The Clippers got their backup center. Now, I think it doesn't hurt to get a third center. It doesn't hurt. But Mo Bamba, I don't know much about Mo Bamba or whatever he can do and things like that. All I know is he's a center. He's tall. He can create rim protection, and that's a solid backup big. Definitely better than Daniel Tice and frickin' Mason Plumlee combined. Because just enough, he's got height, he can play some defense, and we got another guy that you can put in after Zoo that has rim protection. Because the one thing about Daniel Tice and Mason Plumlee is they were too small and they were not able to create rim protection. With Mo Bamba at the least, you'll get rim protection. How good it is, we don't know. But you'll get some rim protection for your freaking backup starting your backup, your bench unit. And he could also be another pick and roll guy, another guy that is also athletic too. And again, he's still a young player. So I'm happy. I am happy with the moves the Clippers are making. I'm happy with the moves the Clippers have been making, and I can't believe what is going on. It's plain and simple. Listen, I don't like Lawerence Frank as much as the next guy. I still think he deserves to be fired for everything he's done, but I can't lie in terms of talking about I like the moves he's been making. He clearly has a plan. He clearly has a goal. He has a decision to make these moves that, frankly, will actually help the Clippers better somewhat in the long term, somewhat better in the short term at this current moment. At least you're going to be fielding a competitive team. You won't be winning the championship, but who knows? Maybe, just maybe, you catch lightning in a bottle and somehow you shock the world, and maybe you do end up in the NBA Finals. Because guess what? You did end up making these decisions. And I got to give credit where credit's due to Lawerence Frank. He's making these decisions, talking about we need to be a better defensive team. Paul George, you mentioned on your podcast, we needed people to do the dirty. Well, guess what? We're getting people that are willing to get down and dirty and do the dirty work. Something that Paul George, Philadelphia 76ers fans will realize he don't want to do. He don't want to get down and dirty. Well, right now we're signing guys that want to get down and dirty and do the dirty work. So we'll see. We will see. I'm enjoying the moves that the Clippers are making. Paul George, good riddance. I ain't gonna miss you. And it's funny because his damn podcast dude was talking shit about Clipper fans and everything, and Clipper fans were rightfully cooking his ass. Jackie or whatever his name was. Man, please. Should be lucky that Paul George even gave him the damn opportunity to be on the damn podcast. Now watch, the first podcast they do after talking about the news and Paul George's reflection about his time with the Clippers, watch freaking Jackie be the first person to say, man, Clipper fans are effing stupid, man. They were going after me and everything, and they're hating you and everything. Man, please. I like to see Paul George try to talk shit on the Clippers. He might want to watch his mouth. He already gonna get booed, but geez Louise, he goes and shit talks the Clippers and then the Clipper fans. Man, please. He in for a rude awakening. In for a rude awakening. We'll be booing him nonstop, just like Indiana till this day still boos him. But don't get me started with his podcast partners. I already know for a shadow of fact that first podcast when he addresses leaving the Clippers and joining the 76ers, he's going to be freaking talking crap about the Clippers. Because they didn't pay him the amount of money that he wanted to get paid. And at the end of the day, hopefully Paul George realizes business and the fact that Lawerence Frank says, dude, we can't handicap ourselves. Either you take the pay cut or you freaking are best of luck in your future endeavors. Plain and simple. Lawerence Frank is making some moves. Sounds like it also feels like he's making moves to try to save his job. But it definitely seems like Paul George definitely held something over his head to make these moves because now he's making these moves that are actually solid moves for once that I can't get mad at. And it's like, well, shit, if we had made these moves when we had Kawhi and Paul George, who knows? Maybe we actually make the NBA Finals. But whatever. Whatever. Paul George is gone. The Clippers signed Derek Jones Jr., Nicholas Batum, Chris Dunn waiting on a potential sign and trade to get another asset and give away some assets. And then we got Mo Bamba as well. I don't know what the Clippers will be doing the rest of the day. If anything, going forward, I don't know. But I will say this. Lawerence Frank is actually being more active than I've seen him do in the past 5 years. He's been the most active I've seen him do. I've seen him go in the entire era of 2-1-3 outside of certain trade deadline moves. But whatever. We'll see. If you guys like the video, leave a like, put in the comment section your thoughts, hit that subscribe button if you want to get more content in regards to the Clippers. Again, whenever Clipper news happens, I'll see if I can make a video as fast as I can, get it out and talk about it and give you guys my thoughts so then everybody can be able to be happy and enjoy the stuff about Clippers stuff. NFL season is coming up. I'm gonna not only be talking about my Chicago Bears. I'm trying to also get into just the league wide in terms of NFL, getting back to that stuff and things like that. But anyways, I'm gonna get out of here. Catch you guys in this video. Till then, guys, stay safe out there and have a great rest of your day, night, or watching this video. Till then, guys, peace.